That's thank you. Welcome to everyone. This is Friday, April 1st, and this is the Naples and Marco Island Market Center's Luxury Mastermind. So I've just touched upon an active listing in Pelican Bay listed with the Bonita Springs Market Center. And now I'm discussing a pending sale that Wendy McCarty has on Marco Island. This is a listing that's 4 bedrooms and a den, about nearly 5,000 square feet. And it's under construction at 999 Spruce Court. It went under contract on January 16th, and the list price was $6,300,000. Again, 4 bedrooms and a den, 5.5 baths. So I think it's important that we all continue to follow the MLS and become aware of not only what the general market is, but specifically what's happening in the luxury market. Also, to be familiar with what's the highest closed price or what's the highest listing we've had in the past, say, year in Southwest Florida with Keller Williams, so that when someone approaches you, whether it's in public or in a social setting, and they ask about your company, and you can say that we currently have a listing for $7,649,000 in Pinecrest and Pelican Bay, or we have a pending sale listed at $6,300,000 on Marco Island, another pending sale for $4,690,000 on Marco Island, and an active listing in Naples and Royal Harbor for $3,995,000. So you understand that we are still active, and even though properties are not staying on the market for a long time, that last one that I mentioned was listed with Jim Chambers in the Naples Market Center. And that home has been just came on the market yesterday for 3 bedrooms and a den, 3 baths, built in '89 with about 2,651 square feet. The address is 1275, Cobia Court in Royal Harbor, listed for $3,995,000. And then when there's an opportunity for you to preview those properties, either at an open house that someone's doing, or if you can piggyback on someone else's showing so you're not disturbing the seller if they're owner occupied, I would encourage you to do that. You never know when the opportunity is going to come up when you have a listing presentation to make or a consultation, and someone will ask you, well, can you describe some of the luxury properties that Keller Williams has sold? And so you can say, yes, I was in the house in Royal Harbor. It was on the market for 6 days and it sold for above list price. That's hypothetical, but I'm just giving you an example. Has anyone who's on the call had any experiences recently where you've either had a luxury listing opportunity or someone's asked you about the market? Taylor?
I wish. No, I have not yet.
Okay. So, again, what I would suggest is consider setting up automated emails in Matrix or in the Marco Island MLS, and so that you receive notifications when luxury properties come on the market or when Keller Williams listings come on the market or change status. That way you become conversant in what's happening in the real estate market, especially in the luxury market. And then, as I say, when you have the opportunity, without disrupting either the owner or the listing agent, look for the opportunity to go by and preview those properties. So you begin to develop that sort of sixth sense about what market values are. You know, in the past 27 years that I've been selling real estate, I would take someone out in the car and show them the area, and they would say, well, what are homes in this neighborhood sell for? Or what do condominiums in this high rise sell for? And the more conversant you can be about that and familiar with the current market, the more credibility you'll have with your client. So if you're going on a listing appointment, and let's just say hypothetically, it's not a Keller Williams listing, but there's a new listing in an area where you either farm or you might consider farming or have buyers that are going to be looking in that area, or you think you might get a listing in that area. If there's going to be an open house, and again, luxury property in our market is at least $1 million or more, are you taking advantage of the opportunity? If you're not doing an open house on that, let's say Sunday afternoon, then are you taking advantage of the opportunity to go out and preview other listings that other agents from other companies have? Because that's how you begin to develop that knowledge base, so that when someone says, well, I'm thinking about listing my home and I want $5 million for it. And they said, you can then say, well, I saw the home down the street and that one was smaller than yours or bigger than yours, or that one didn't have a dock, or that one didn't have a screen enclosure on the pool, but you're already familiar. You have a deep knowledge of the competing properties in that area. It's hard after the fact when a property has closed. You can only rely on the information that you can see in the MLS. Maybe you might find a video, you might find a virtual tour, but the benefit of seeing properties on a regular basis begins to develop that muscle, that brain power that helps you to be able to talk freely about the real estate market. And then you begin to follow and say, well, I'm seeing a trend here. Homes that are in this section of Marco Island are selling faster than maybe another section, or they're selling for a higher list price, or they're selling in fewer days. So again, build that muscle so that you can be able to talk with either sellers, owners, or prospective buyers, because they expect that if they're giving you a luxury opportunity, that you're knowledgeable in the market. And the only way to get knowledgeable is to drill down into the data and then physically go and look at the properties. And then the other opportunity is when you're there with people, you have the chance to talk with other agents. And so you begin to pick their brain and ask them, what are they seeing in the market? And what is it that's special about this particular property? So you may not know that one side of the development, like Treviso Bay, may have bundled golf and another section may not. And so that affects the market value. So again, talking to the listing agent, if they're not busy with someone else, you don't want to interrupt them while they're working with another buyer. But if they're there sitting on a Sunday afternoon and they don't have anybody else and you're the only one in the house with them, that's your opportunity, unless they throw you out, to ask, what are you seeing in the market? What's unique about this home? What do you hear that's happening in this community or this development, to try again to develop that market knowledge? Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Then again, the other part that we want to take a look at is, what are the new listings that are coming on the market? And what are we seeing a level? Are they coming on as fast on the market and going off and selling, or going under contract equally fast? Or are we starting to see a trend? Are some homes taking longer to sell? Are some homes having price adjustments? When it comes to new construction, are there increases in prices due to cost of materials? So again, consumers looking to you to be the source of information and to be knowledgeable about what's happening in the marketplace. And to the extent that we can share that with one another, whether it's in our offices or on these calls, that helps all of us improve our skills. It's like sharpening the saw. The more knowledge we have to share, the better we become. So the next thing that I'll suggest is, as we transition from season to off season, there's an opportunity to get out to look at new construction and to go to either sales centers or model homes and become familiar with what's currently on the market and what's selling. So there again, if you go out and register with the salesperson or introduce yourself with your business card, the next time you bring in a buyer, they may be on duty that day and they may remember you. And it gives you more credibility when you walk into a sales center or to a model home and the salesperson recognizes you and they say, it's nice to see you again. as opposed to you've been there for the first time. Now, if you're, let's say hypothetically, you're in the Marco Island office or you're in the Naples office, and there is new construction. I'll pick a midpoint, let's say Fiddler's Creek or Naples Reserve. Obviously agents from either office could equally serve those developments. So when you go there, you're going to get familiar with what they have to offer, and you're going to get information about the floor plans, the amenities, so that when you have a buyer, you're going to be able to walk right in. You're going to know where the sales office is. You're going to know where the director's office for membership is. If there's a restaurant or a locker room, maybe it was in Lely Resort. Again, I'm trying to think of areas that are sort of close to both market centers. So you're very familiar with the layout, where you park, if it's a gated community, how to get through the gate, which gates open. All that kind of information helps build your credibility, and it's going to save you time. So the idea is, you want to get familiar with what kinds of quality of construction there are, because even within luxury, you may see various levels. You might see things that are very basic, very standard, and then you may see ultra high quality. If you had a buyer who said, I want to buy a vacant lot and build a home, and I need you to recommend both an architect and a builder, do you have those people in mind? So it's sort of which comes first, the chicken or the egg. You have to learn those things before someone asks you for them. So ask other agents who's building luxury homes. Go and look at their model homes, because the model homes may sell, or the homes that they have under construction may sell, and you're not going to be able to get into them until later on. You may never be able to get into them. So you want to see them while they're still available, and take advantage of the opportunity in the market to familiarize yourself with the workmanship that they do, and talk with the salespeople and ask them the difference. What sets them apart from other builders and developers? If they can't answer that question and their competitor can, that may be an indication to you. You may also want to take a look in the MLS to see what homes have sold in the, let's say, 2 million and up price range. So they tend to be less production builders and more custom builders. So if I were had a buyer who wanted to build a $5 million home on Marco Island or in Naples, I'd have an idea of these are the top builders that have sold homes. And then I would have gone to their website, and I would have looked up their sales history in MLS, and I would have gone to their sales centers or their models or homes that are under construction, and take a closer look at all of them to make sure that I became knowledgeable about the differences between one builder and the next. And then some of them you might want to set up an appointment to meet with them. So if there are a half a dozen builders and you set up appointments to meet with them, and again, be candid that you may not have a buyer at the moment, or you may have a buyer coming in the next month and you want to find out more about them. You're in a way their salesperson. You are the leading edge for them with the consumer, and the consumer is looking to you for a recommendation. And you may feel reluctant to give a recommendation if you don't have much information. And you could say, well, here are the top 6 builders, and you'd go decide for yourself. Or you would say something like, here are the top 6 builders, and these are the 3 that I would say that you should interview first. I'm not saying only interview 3, but these are the first of the 3. We have an instructor within Keller Williams, South Florida region, and what she always advocates when working with buyers is show them the best property first. Don't start out with the weakest one first. You may say, for convenience sake, I'm going to show properties, and I'm going to start out with the home that's closest to the office, or the one that's the farthest distance away, and working back towards the office, or to where the consumer is staying in a hotel or where they live. But what happens is we begin to set expectations. So when we show them and if you can preview properties, it's even better. But if you show the very best property first, And then you begin to show the rest of them, and the consumer begins to recognize that they're not getting better, they're getting worse as we go along. Then they're going to say, oh, I recognize now that I did see the best. You may not tell them that you showed them the best one first. And it may not be the most expensive one that's the best one first. It might be the location, might be smaller, et cetera. But the idea is you're trying to lower their expectations going forward. The reverse of that is if you don't follow that method and you show them in a random order, or you show maybe the worst one first, then they begin to have the expectation, well, if I just hold out longer, a rabbit's going to jump out of the hat, and I'm going to see the best one last. And they're consistently disappointed when they don't happen. So you want to show the best property first if you have the opportunity to. Now that in today's market, that may not be so easy because we have listing agent a company on many luxury properties, and the availability of the listing agent a company may not work to show the best one first. So you may be limited on that. But if you have the opportunity, that's my recommendation. Any questions so far? Okay. Read the design magazines and read the home builders magazines. Find the articles in Gulf Shore Life magazine, because your consumer reads those publications or may read those publications. So if you don't subscribe to any of those publications, you can likely find them at Barnes and Noble or another bookstore, and begin to familiarize yourself, because they're reading Architectural Digest, and they're reading about appliances and faucets and light fixtures, et cetera. And to the extent that you become more knowledgeable about who manufactures what, you're not an interior designer, you're not an architect, but you want to build that vocabulary so that when someone describes what they're looking for, you can speak intelligently about it. Then Keller Williams has our monthly luxury learning series through Command and through the KW Luxury Facebook group. So I would encourage you to watch those videos. They're also archived in Command, and go back and watch as many of them as you possibly can, because that's going to build your muscle on vocabulary and understanding about working with luxury buyers and sellers. Network with other agents. So if there's like an event that a builder is putting on, or a broker open, or a conference. Today, there was a conference at the Naples Board of Realtors on technology. Is that networking with other agents helps build not only familiarity, so when you walk into an open house, or you walk into the showing and the listing agent is a company, and they look at you with like deer in the headlights, they never saw you before, they don't know who you are, all they know is they got a showing time request online, doesn't build credibility for you with your customer. So I would call the listing agent if they're going to a company and have a conversation with them about the property, and try to become as familiar with the property and what the circumstances of the seller or the builder is, so that you can pass along that information to the buyer with confidence. Again, that comes through building relationships. So if you stay at home all the time and you never go to any events, you don't meet other agents, you don't see how they conduct themselves, you don't see how they sell properties. If you go to a sales center and you meet with the salesperson, you're going to see how they sell their community or their properties. And that's building your strength to model everything. I don't say copy everything that everyone else does, because not everyone does it the right way. I certainly don't do it perfectly, but I think you can learn things. You begin to pick up on common threads of how people conduct themselves and how they speak to clients. And so when we talk about customers and clients, I don't refer to people as you guys. That's not luxury, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. If you were to go to the Ritz-Carlton and come to the front desk, they don't say hi or hello. They say good morning or good afternoon. How can I help you? So it's a matter of understanding how the affluent luxury clientele are addressed and how they talk and how they refer to others in a way that is common in the luxury sphere or in the luxury market. They are dealing with financial advisors, attorneys, accountants, stockbrokers, wealth managers, and those people have been educated and schooled on proper vocabulary and proper conversations with their clientele, and we can learn from all of them. I went through the Dale Carnegie training course, and one of the things that we were cautioned about and which we tried to build the muscle on is to try and eliminate the ums and the ahs in our conversations. I use the word so maybe too frequently. Learning how to end a sentence and pick up with the next one without adding an ah and in there shows skill. So we can all learn something from others. The last thing I'm going to share, and then I've got a showing that I'm going to have to leave early today for, is try to, and there I just said an ah, try to look for YouTube videos on luxury. You can type in all kinds of words in the search bar in YouTube, and you will find a lot of businesses. You might type in, start out with maybe luxury real estate or luxury homes Naples or luxury homes Marco Island. And then you might see videos of luxury homes that other agents have done. You might see a variety of quality. So pay attention to the lighting, to the music that's behind the video, to the description as it's read. And is it read by the agent? Is the agent doing the video, or is it a professional narrator? All of these things are, again, aspects of marketing yourself, and the quality of you and what you do reflects on everyone else in Keller Williams. If we don't raise the bar, then we fall to the least common denominator. And the idea is that we're trying to grow our presence in the market as well as our reputation. And that's by doing things of the highest quality whenever we have the opportunity. Are there any other questions before we end?
Not at
I
all.
want to thank you for being here today and look forward to seeing you. Our next call will be on the fourth Friday in April, and we'll have a different topic and look forward to seeing you there. In the meantime, if you need help, reach out to any of us in the market centers.
Thank you, Mark. Have a great day.
Thank you. We can stop the recording. Thank you.